My grandpa worked as a night watchman for most of his adult life. He passed away years ago, while he was still working, but I still remember something very strange that happened to us, and that my grandma and I witnessed together. In 2005, my grandpa still refused to have a cell phone. Once, one of my aunts gave him one as a gift. It stayed in the house permanently, even after a party he ended up getting lost at. But for one of his birthdays, we gathered all the grandchildren to buy him a phone, and he couldn't refuse it. He already felt too watched having to carry a radio at work, but he accepted the phone anyway. Since he started taking it to work, I made it a routine to call him every night before going to bed. I needed to hear that he was okay, so I could finally sleep peacefully. To me, he was like a father, and because I'm the kind of person who always expects the worst, I'd spend my nights sleepless with thoughts of danger, especially after they assigned him to watch a warehouse on the outskirts of the city. So that call every night became something I depended on. One night, I called him like always. He answered, but I couldn't hear anything at first. "Grandpa, are you okay?" I asked. But there was nothing. No voice, no words. The call went on, and I started to assume the phone had some kind of problem. Then, suddenly, I heard static, and after that, breathing. On the other end, the breathing was frantic, getting worse by the second. "Grandpa, are you okay?" I asked again. I was getting more and more worried, because the breathing was becoming faster and more agitated. Then the call just ended. I hung up and went to my grandma's room to tell her what had happened. Together, we called back. We hadn't even heard the first ring finish when someone answered. A rough, angry child's voice snapped, "What do you want, you damned women?" It was strange because the voice didn't sound like it was screaming, but it was so loud that my grandma heard it too, even though the phone wasn't on speaker. "Where is my grandpa? Who are you?" I asked. Again, there was only breathing. My grandma, always like this when she was worried or scared, without thinking, grabbed a small black wooden Christ object she kept nearby. "Leave that," she said, "I'm going." The voice replied, then there was a loud thud, like someone had dropped the phone. We were terrified. We called my grandpa's workplace, the security company, and we were told that something had happened, but that several agents had already been sent, along with the police, and we shouldn't worry. A few minutes later, my grandpa called us to say he was okay. In the morning, he explained what had happened. He said he had left the phone behind because, through the security cameras, he saw a boy running down one of the hallways at the far back of the warehouse. He got up to check immediately, thinking someone had entered the building with help to steal something. He alerted the company over the radio. He searched everywhere. When his supervisor arrived, they continued looking together. My grandpa felt embarrassed, because he thought maybe he'd imagined it, and that people would blame it on him being the oldest employee on the team. Then something changed. His supervisor suddenly went completely silent, with a look on his face like he'd seen the devil himself. "What's wrong, sir?" my grandpa asked. "A child just ran out of the security booth," the supervisor said, pointing to the small office where the cameras were, and where my grandpa had left the phone. More security employees arrived, along with police officers. Together, they checked everything, but they found absolutely nothing. We never told my grandpa that someone, or something, had answered his phone.